Is the word problems, okay? For question number 43, the height of a ball that is thrown in the air is modeled by the equation h equals t squared minus 12t, where h is the height in feet and t is the time in seconds. So find the time it takes for the ball to reach the ground. Okay, so basically, right, we have someone has a ball and it gets thrown, right? Okay, so first we have to figure out the time it takes for the ball to reach the ground. Okay, first of all, you guys, the ground is when the height is 0, right? So they gave us an equation, so let's make h equals to, so we have the equation of h equals t squared minus 12t, right? We set h equal to 0 because that literally means the moment the ball hits the ground, right? But we want to figure out the time. So this is what we have. So we can definitely solve this by factoring. So we can factor out a t from each of them, yeah? Ooh, this is getting quite nasty. Okay, we can factor out a t from both of them. So take out the GCF, right? t minus 12. And again, you set both your factors equals to 0. So at 12, t is equal to 12. Now, the one that makes the most sense is this one, because it's asking, find the time it takes for the ball to reach the ground. We're not really talking about when the ball was on the ground at the start. We want to know what time it was after it was airborne in the air, right? So that took 12 seconds. Now we have, well, how long did it, find the time it takes for the ball to reach 64 feet. Well, you guys, isn't that h equals to 64, right? So we already have this equation, so let's plug it into there. 64 equals t squared minus 12t, right? Let's solve for it. Let's subtract both sides by 64 because we want to set the equation equals to 0, right? So we got that. Personally, I'd probably solve this, you guys, by factoring. So negative 64 minus 12. So the two numbers that multiply to negative 64, but when added gives you guys negative 12. That's negative 16 and 4. We'll put these both over 1t. So our factors are t minus 16, you guys, times t plus 4 is equals to 0. And when we solve, set both your factors equals to 0, right? So t equals negative 4, and t is equals to 16. And what time it took to reach 64? Well, it can't be a negative seconds answer, you guys. The only answer is 16. Okay. For question 45. Okay, so a rectangle has a length that is 1 foot more than its width if its area is 672 square feet. Find the width and length of the rectangle. Okay, so they told us we have a rectangle. It's got an area of 72, right? Now, they said the length is 1 foot more than its width. So 1 plus w plus 1, right? That represents the length being 1 more than the width. And we just have our typical width, right? So basically, you guys, there's the length, there's the width, and let's solve for this, right? And make an equation. We know the area of a rectangle, you guys, right? The area of a rectangle is length times width. Well, we know the length is w plus 1, and we know the width is w, right? And we know that 72 is the area. So we're going to factor this, w squared plus w, and we want the equation to equal 0, so subtract 72 to both sides. 0 equals w squared plus w minus 72. We can definitely solve this by factoring. The two numbers I multiplied negative 72, but when added, give you guys 1. That's 9 and negative 8. Divide by 1w, divide by 1w. So factors are w plus 9 and w minus 8, right? Equals to 0. So we're going to set both our factors equals to 0. W equals to 8. And w equals to negative 9. It cannot be negative 9. You cannot have a negative length or width. But remember, we're trying to find the width and the length of the rectangle, right? Well, we know the width is 8. And remember, we said the length equals the width plus 1, right? Which is 8 plus 1 for 9. The length is 9 and the width is 8. Okay. 47 and 48, you guys, right? 47, 48. So again, we know the length of something. It says 1 foot less than twice its width. Okay, twice its width is 2 times w, and 1 less than that would be 2w minus 1. We know the width, you guys, is just the width, right? We have another rectangle, and it has an area of 15. So the length is 2w minus 1, you guys, and the width is w. Now remember, the area of a rectangle is the length times the width, right? So at 15, the length is 2w minus 1, and the width is just w. So I would distribute that to both of them, right? 2w squared, you guys, minus w, and we want the equation to equal 0, so I'm going to subtract both sides by 15, right? Okay, so we have this, so perfect opportunity to factor, right? A times c is negative 30, right? 2 times negative 15, you guys, is the top, negative 1's on the bottom. The two numbers that multiply to negative 30, but when added gives you guys negative 1. That is negative 6 and 5. But remember, divide both of these by the a value and attach the w, right? This is fine. This could simplify negative 3 over w. So we got factors of, I'm going to write it over here. No, I'll write it over here. W minus 3 times 2w plus 5, you guys, is equals to 0, right? We still need to solve. Set both of the factors equals to 0, right? W equals 3. W equals negative 5 over 2. But remember, the width cannot be negative, so that means the width is 3. And to find our length, you guys, right? We said the length was 2w minus 1, so 2 times 3 minus 1. 6 minus 1, which is 5. So the length is 5, and we know the width is 3, right? Width is 5. No. Yes. No. Length is 5, and the width is 3. Okay, so we have here. Okay, so it says the hypotenuse of a right triangle, you guys, looks like this, right? So the hypotenuse is 10, right? Remember, hypotenuse is right across from the 90 degree. And it says one leg is 2 inches longer than the other leg. Well, I'm just going to say this is the first leg, and then that means the second leg, you guys, will be x plus 2. 2 more than the other leg, right? Find the area of the triangle. So, area of a triangle, you guys, is 1/2 base times the height. So, 1/2, the base is x, and the height is x plus 2. Now, it'd be so nice if we actually knew what these x values were, you guys, and the way we can do that is You guys, isn't this a right triangle? So can't we use the formula, Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and remember c is the hypotenuse, right? And a and b, you guys, are your legs, right? So I'm gonna say x is my a, so x squared, plus I'm gonna say x plus 2 is my b, so x plus 2 squared, you guys, equals to the hypotenuse, which is 10 to the second. Now, please remember this, you guys, right? X plus 2, you guys, squared. Isn't that x plus 2 times x plus 2? So shouldn't you guys do a double distribution there? X squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 4, which is x squared plus 4x plus 4, right? Equals to 100. So we got x squared, no, 2x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 100, right? We want to set the equation equal to 0, so subtract 100 from both sides. 2x squared plus 4x minus 96 equals to 0. We could definitely factor that, right? Divide each by 2, GCF. And this is something we could definitely factor using trinomials, right? The two numbers I multiplied at negative 48, but when I add, gives you guys 2. That is 8 and negative 6. And put this all over the a value of 1x, right? 2 times x plus 8, x minus 6 equals to 0. Remember, set all your guys' factors equals to 0, right? 2 can't equals a 0, so that's out of the question. Subtract both sides by negative 8. Add both sides by 6. Now this cannot be an answer because you cannot have a length that is negative. So x is equals to 6, which is perfect because now, back over here, you guys, right? To get our area, it's 1/2 times 6 times 6 plus 2, right? 1/2 times 6 times 8, you guys. 8 times 6 is 48. 48 divided by 2, you guys. That gives us 24, right? So we know the base. So we know the height, you guys, is 8. And we know that the base was 6. And the area we found was 24, right? Was 24. Okay, last problem. A triangle has a height of x plus 3 and a base of 2x minus 4. If its area is 6 square feet, find the base and height of the triangle. Okay, well, here is a triangle, right, you guys? We know the height of this triangle is x plus 3, and we know its base is 2x minus 4. And we know its area is 6. Well, we definitely know a formula for area of a triangle, right? The formula for area of a triangle, you guys, is 1/2 base times the height. So we don't have the x values for this, so we gotta solve for that, right? Well, they gave us area, so 6 equals to 1/2 the base, which is 2x minus 4, times the height, you guys, which is x plus 3, right? So if we do a double distribution, right, we get 2x squared plus 6x minus 4x minus 12. And if we do simplify that, you guys, we get 2x squared plus 2x minus 12, right? Now we can distribute this 1/2 to each of them, so we have all those values. And then we set the equation equals to 0, right? And then we can factor 4 and negative 3, 1x, 1x. So 0 equals x plus 4 times x minus 3, right? But when you guys solve, you gotta set both of your factors equals to 0. Ultimately, x will equal to negative 4 and x was equal to 3. So it can't be negative 4 because that would give us a negative distance, so it must be 3, right? But remember, we're trying to find the base and the height. So if we plug in 3 in for the base, this is the base, right, you guys? This is the height. So if we plug in 3, we get 6 minus 4. So we know the base is 2. And for the height, you guys, we know the height has to be 6. So height is 6 and the base is 2. So again, hopefully these videos help you guys out. Utilize it to the best of your ability and get ready for the test. Okay?